sound bar. I want the mics.
Can we?
Yeah.
You can think we don't have.
I think so.
Are you guys more? See?
I suspect. Actually, I think isn't that like a safety concern?
Is it a little warm?
Like a safety concern. There's no guard on that thing.
Yeah.
They don't make these anymore. This is old school.
Is that right? Is there a reason?
The real old ones were brown. When I was going to my father-in-law's place, he had two of them. I said, I'll claim those. They don't make them anymore.
Yeah.
The metal blades.
I only did that so many
Oh,
times
yeah.
when you tell me Brent.
Take a fingertip off.
Well, me twice.
Yeah.
Okay, I would say you can probably
Try again.
try again. I believe we're live streaming. I believe we have sound.
Okay, we'll call it back to order.
I think, Mr. Mayor.
Are you wrapped up now, Mr. Nell?
I believe so. Any
Okay.
questions?
Any questions of Mr. Nell?
I'm just going to ask one there, but that water line that they are wanting us to. MPE thought, we needed to come from the east, circulate around
From the east
From
or
the-
from the south?
from the south there, but it's coming around.
The loop.
Finish the loop.
Yeah,
One of them is that we're expecting to put,
that's a few years down the road. Mr. Custer.
okay, so
We will as we're, depending on what we do with the bridge. Because that water line would have to cross there might be something that we have to do there.
A temporary or
That's-
yeah, that's what I was wondering, to do the roadway.
Yeah.
Okay, has everybody had a chance to look at the community services report?
I have a report,
You're gonna
please.
go home right, we'll put you next.
Oh, sorry, I'm jumping the gun.
No, that's good. Keep me on my toes. I think Canada Day was a success. The quick reaction to move the bouncy castles and the stuff inside went over really well. I was pretty impressed. I got a little bit of grief because I didn't get my face painted, but there was quite a lineup and I wasn't able to get to the front of the line. I didn't think I need to cut some little kid off, so. But yeah, no, they did a great job with that, so. And we got a rave review on our music in the park for the first one already, so that's a positive. And skate park, I got the thumbs up for my 6-year-old grandson, so we must have done something right there as well.
Every time I walk the kids to Epic during an Epic adventure. Anytime there's kids at the skate park, I ask them how happy they are with the designs and they're just thrilled.
Yeah.
So it's been very good.
Nothing else for Michelle's report, no questions, concerns? Lori, you're up to that.
Thank you. My apologies for
No, all good. No,
jumping in there. I thought you were skipping to a different
your
section.
brain's in a different place. right
My
now.
brain is in a different place. I'm a little bit rattled at the moment, so. I just wanted to bring to council's attention, I think I counted page 6 of my report is what, my recommendations are of the summary that we did regarding the electronic newsletter. So because it was specifically asking questions of the subscribers, we didn't promote it publicly, just within the newsletter. And the results as they came, once they were complete, are here. I was happy with the number of responses. I'm very happy with the results, and I just would like to be sure that council is okay with the recommendations that I've provided there before I provide further direction to staff.
Questions, concerns? No, I think we
Continue.
would.
And one other thing too, if I may, I've also attached a public communications plan for the animal control bylaw, the public engagement process. This will be a dynamic piece that will continue. It's kind of my working document. I've enclosed this outline. I'm happy to answer any questions about it. We're anticipating that council may host an open house or a non-statutory public hearing prior to the end of August. That's how this plan is laid out in order to meet those deadlines. Are there any dates or times that you might want to consider today?
ASAP.
Yeah.
Right, Mr. Hall?
Bring the chickens.
Are you asking for comment?
Always. So you're saying, Lori, sorry, that the last week in August? Is that what you're thinking?
I'm suggesting sometime between the 5th of August and the last week in August, yes,
Tracy,
or very end of August.
you won't be here in August at all.
No. last week.
Okay, so that eliminates that then.
For it to have a public hearing.
Yeah, she's on the last week. of August, so.
Okay.
That takes us from the 5th to the
What time are you doing?
23rd.
The fifth to this last, definitely.
He's out. You can take that
Out.
for us. Yeah, okay.
So we're from the 12th to the 23rd.
I can make a suggestion. I'm just wondering if those times based on, it is August, lots of people are gone. The engagement piece, I think we're gonna miss people. I'm wondering if we shouldn't be working on September when people are back into routine, school's back in, holidays have mostly been concluded. The August thing does not fare well with me, just based on, it is summertime, people, and I think our engagement, I wanna try and get as many people involved as possibly can be involved to hear the voices of our people. So I'm wondering if we can work on that in September.
That's, certainly is an option. I just said, it just delays the process. But certainly if council believes that September might be a better month to draw people out to, an event to hear what people have to say or voice any support or opposition to it, that's certainly in your guys's, ballpark.
I don't think 1 or 2 weeks is gonna be, I don't think it's gonna make that
Well,
much
it
difference. I would rather have the input of our public versus
No, and that's
trying to.
Perfect.
So then rather than trying to figure out a date today, if the consensus is we're good to move it to first part of September, we could come back at the August meeting and look at a date for early September, then people might know their calendar a little bit better. Does that make sense?
I think that's more favor of that.
Yeah. We can do that, and then Director Armstrong can bring a
Revised.
revised plan and dates and times then to, based on that, to do the August meeting.
Any additional questions from that start of a communications plan that was provided? Okay,
No, I'm just, this affects you a great
No.
deal, so,
The public engagement?
yeah.
No, I'm fine with it. I mean, like, it's whatever you guys wanna do, whenever you're ready.
Okay, we'll bring back that revised plan and taking into account the September, early September engagement session.
Okay. Any other questions of Lori? Hearing none. Mr. Olson?
Mr. Mayor, nothing further to add, kind of touched on it, Kim. Guys been busy, we started line thinking. Keep him busy with these guys helping out as we find different sides of the line. Good thing we keep a lot of stock, we help them out.
Different, is it not recorded different?
Yeah.
Okay, no, and that's to be expected, I mean.
Well, I'm old, but I'm not old enough to realize that Tina's barber shop was like, I can, 1 point.
Oh, yeah.
We actually had a 2-inch line, which. We had, yeah. So, and there's a few inch and a half we didn't. know.
But a lot of the inch and a half squeezed down to 3/4 at the
Yeah.
buildings.
Halfway under the building, so we can't pull it. So, yeah, a few hiccups like that, some 8-inch sewer lines we weren't. One,
What is the normal? 8 inch.
clay top, so we're able to. Like I say, we've helped Brooks out to keep them going, because we do keep a lot of stock.
But no
That was
Egyptian
a-
artifacts have been found. yet.
Nothing yet, no gold either.
Ah.
There's been a few things pop out that nobody wants.
Henceforth, the surplus room in the public works building, all up, no, the heck do you need electric for?
And it definitely was time to do when it did get started. As the equipment walked across or touched it, it was collapsing about 8.4. It's definitely, it was a good time. It's a good thing we were doing it. We would have been digging it up.
Perfect.
I have a question, so I'm just wondering, Britt, because I've seen, you've had to be there quite frequently when I've gone by and stuff, so is this impeding like on your regular workload? Or have you made provision in this time?
Yeah, I just stopped in to let them know I want to see what they're doing. I want to, Zach reaching out and says, hey, we have this. So it doesn't really add any extra, it just. I come over here instead of, we're not actually doing any actual work. They come and get all the parts, we just log it. And it's more or less just to let them know that we're watching. I want to see what's going on. If there's anything that could be a change order. Such as we didn't realize there was an 8-inch sewer, well, that's a difference. So then he called me and says, better come up with this, but we got everything got.
Well, it's great, so that we know exactly that you're probably gonna, well, maybe not, I think it's crossed. Never have to deal with it, but again,
That's the hope.
That's the hope. 'cause
yeah,
I don't-
right, but you never, right?
But now everything will be consistent.
Did, on your airport, just to touch, did Madge Farms reach out to you? Cause they're spraying and apparently there's a soft spot off the pad somewhere and I told them to reach out to you.
We haven't heard anything.
Okay, I'll reinforce that they need to reach out to you. Talking to the mayor doesn't get it fixed, so.
I talked to the sprayer last week, Thursday or Friday,
Okay,
and he didn't say anything.
okay, perfect.
He was just got set up, so he sets up at the far east end, just off the highway and off the tarmac, I guess. But he hasn't. indicated
Okay.
anything.
No, it may have just been one of these one-offs.
I'll talk with Rob, he's out there lots too.
Cool, yeah.
See if he's heard it.
All right, thanks.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Go ahead.
I've had some seniors ask, or on your concrete projects, or can you get more? So they get their scooters and that up onto the sidewalks, because there's quite a few spots, where they have issues with road cut.
Every time we change sidewalks or we change them out, they go to a ramp.
If we're just to clarify, so if we're doing a piece of sidewalk close to there and there's not a wheelchair ramp, we put it in. We don't necessarily go and put a wheelchair ramp in if the sidewalk's good to remain blocked, so. But yeah, I think they're $2,500, $3,000 a wheelchair ramp, so. We've been doing them as we're
you
doing
go.
in that area.
That's what I
so,
sort of explained, but they're just wondering, but
Yeah, But
And
we
they
don't-
were last year 3,500 a ramp.
yeah,
yeah.
oh yeah, it's not cheap.
so.
Thank you. Motion accept senior administrator's official reports 8.01 to 8.03 is presented for information. Motion, Counselor Thurl again, all in favor? Carried. Business items, first quarter emergency management report.
Thanks, Mr. Mayor. It's been busy. we hosted a regional emergency management plan partners, CEOs and DEMs in Hanna on April 25th, just to go over the regional plan. We held a Town of Hanna Emergency Management Committee meeting here, as you know, on June 4th. I attended the local elected officials course in Youngstown on June 24th. And that afternoon, we held our first regional emergency management committee meeting. So it'll be the same as what you and Councillor Bodine were at here. But regionally with everybody there, Councillor Bodine was able to represent Hanna. The mayor had sent his regrets. Then following day, represented our regional emergency management team by attending a basic emergency management course that we're hosting in Hanna at the fire hall. And then again, the next day, same thing, represented the regional group by attending an ICS 100 course that we're holding in Hanna. We had several staff from the office that were in both the BEM and the ICS 100. So been busy, lots of the planning, no activations. We don't need those, but just busy planning. Any questions on emergency management?
We won't need it, it's awesome.
That's kind of one of those things that you do all this planning and everything, and you hope you never have to use any of it. So that's all I have for that report.
First quarter development report.
Oh, you want to do the motion first?
Yeah.
Councillor Warwick, all in favor? Carried, sorry about that.
That's okay. You and me do it different every time. So development, as you've seen in your package, 21 developments to the end of the quarter, second quarter, a little down from the previous year, but I found these things are kind of all over the place based on when people decide to get working on their projects. Lots of fences and minor construction stuff, some couple decks, and yeah, pretty straightforward. Any questions on development?
Hearing none, motion. Councillor Warwick again, all in favor? Carried. First quarter fire,
See if we can get through this one this time.
yes.
I'm not using the Q word tonight. So as you can see from the stats in your package, second quarter's been a little slower compared to last year. We had 28 incidents in the second quarter compared to 36 last year. 32 would be our average over the past 5 years for the second quarter. So definitely down a little bit. Membership, we're currently sitting full at 30 members, which is a good thing. As far as training, in April, we wrapped up a class of NFPA 1002 pump driving and operating students. So a bunch of new pump operators for us and for the entire region. And right now we have an NFPA 1001 firefighter 2 class scheduled for late October. That'll be our first ever time teaching the firefighter 2 portion of the 1001. And that is because of our training site update. The concrete pad for the outdoor props was poured in late May, and they actually backfilled it today. So everything's sloped and compacted and ready to go. The outdoor props are supposed to be here Monday. They're supposed to be leaving Ontario, I think tomorrow or the next day. And they're planning to install it starting Wednesday the following week, with orientation and handover scheduled for Tuesday, July 30th, and final inspections on the 31st of July. So if everything goes right, hopefully there's no major hiccup in it, we should finally have that part of the project put to bed, which would be really nice. Those outdoor flammable props are the ones that allow us to teach the NFPA 1001 firefighter 2. We need those outdoor props for that.
So that's more of an industrial type course, Dave?
It's very equivalent to the industrial, but it's still municipal.
Okay.
Yeah, it's the second half of your 1001, which also includes vehicle education, basic standard rescue, along with a few other smaller courses in there. Just the flammable liquid props were the only piece we were missing to never be able to teach that whole segment.
Yeah.
So needless to say, we've got a lot of our own firefighters that need that course now. I think currently there's only, 4 of us that have it. I think Brent, myself, and 2 of the captains, Rob and Glenn, I believe are the only ones that have it, if I remember right. So we got a lot of our guys to train on it. And then regionally, we've got everybody that's taken their 1001s firefighter 1 since we built the training tower now needs that course. So you're going to see a heavy
So-
push on that
So
course.
they're no longer the exploits, all.
That whole S course, whole way it used to be
Yeah.
went out the window, and I got mixed feelings that we won't get into here about that,
That's
but
fine. No, no.
it's changed.
Yeah.
Everything's changed so much, right? So yeah, it's mixed into that course. So our first one will be easy because it'll be people that originally took that S. It was 1100 from memory, vehicle education and basic rescue. So some of it'll be some repeat, but this will get them up to the full standard where we want them to be. Other news, most of you probably already heard, our fire fit team competed in June at Spruce Meadows. And once again, came home with a pile of medals, I believe 9, was it right, Oli? Was it 9 in total? So it's matched the same amount of medals as last year, if I got it right. I don't know how they keep setting the bar higher and higher. They're impressive and we're very, very proud of all of them. They put a ton of time into training, some more than others, but it shows in who's bringing home the individual medals. And they do individual, they do team, they do tech, is it called, or the two of them, tech twos. One of our new guys even was too late joining to get on the main team. They found a team that was being put together at the competition, got him a spot on there just so he could experience it and try it out. One of our rookies, brand new guy actually, so he seemed to be liking it too, so.
These people are competing against big city.
Yep.
People, right? And
Full-time
where they didn't even
firefighters.
count.
Yeah, full-time firefighters, some of which I guarantee you have a physical fitness component to their day job.
Yeah.
And train while at work, being paid
It's united,
to train.
It's beautiful.
Yeah, I don't think at all that I've rubbed, and I love it being on the record that I'm rubbing it into the Okotoks fire chief, that our one team beat Okotoks's, so. Yeah, we haven't been trading batches back and forth since the end of fire fit at all about that, so. Any other questions? Yeah,
I'm just curious, do you advertise this? That.
The
these
success?
competitions- No, the competitions ahead of time, is it? Because I don't, and this doesn't mean anything really, but I don't remember seeing it. I've been to Ontario to the Harbor Fine Show a couple times and seen signage, so I've taken it in. It is phenomenal. The activities that go on, it's well worth attending. And for a couple times, and I'm just thinking, I think it'd be great if, you know, our community and outlying areas knew about these competitions and we could have the opportunity if, you know, if we could possibly attend them or anybody wanted to. They're pretty phenomenal, but like with what they've set up and what goes on in those competitions is truly amazing.
we haven't advertised because we haven't had one close by in a long time. Spruce Meadows is where it's been the last few. Regina was one last year. Years ago, Brooks had one and Drumheller had one. We've talked about hosting it ourselves. We've looked and had those early discussions. We actually put the curling Bondsville provincials at a higher level than that. So we focused on that we hosted 2 years ago. And Firefit's been really going to Spruce Meadows because it's a great big event. So they haven't been looking for the small town event. We actually discussed about whether to try to do a car race weekend. At one point when the car races were in Father's Day weekend, we talked about bringing it in and having it as a event then. As far as advertising, no, we could easily, we post on Facebook after the competition what their results were. We could easily get that out there in advance. A lot of their family and friends go. Of the competitors, like, I don't know how many would you have said be there, Brent?
I just think even if it was at Spruce Meadows, I'm sure there'd be community members that would love to attend, and even be a twofold, be at Spruce Meadows and if you've never, I would say to our public, if you've never been, it's worth every moment to go and see what goes on. It's really over the top what they do.
Oh, and it's a great competition. to watch. I have
That's a
this-
good idea, and I think we'll do that, because it's usually with the police, it's the first responders. Like they had, George Canyon, the big live stage. So you're right, we should put it out there when it.
Did I see something that was a junior?
So there's a junior fire fit coming. That
Yes.
is the Ag Society.
Okay.
Is sponsoring it.
Sorry, I
You'll
just-
discuss,
I
you'll
got the
discuss it
slip.
later, then we won't
Yeah.
get into it.
Yeah.
We're assisting tiny bit by supplying a couple guys as per their request, but that is their event.
Okay, no, I just seen it and it fire and yeah.
We've been chatting for the last however many
Perfect,
weeks.
no, awesome.
Any other questions? That's my report.
That's
Mr.
your
Mayor.
report. Motion for kind of municipal for Dave. Counselor Murphy, all in favor. Carried. Business compensation discussion.
No,
Oh, sorry. Municipal enforcement report. Sorry, Trace.
Second quarter report for 2024. Good evening, everyone. Very busy the last, few months. Growing season's happening, so, I can't seem to get around town fast enough. But there's our notable vacant properties, are in the second stage. We should be looking at cleaning up probably mid-month here, where we can schedule contractors, and those are our vacant properties that are not responding to anything and haven't for some significant amount of time now. Contractors are pretty much ready to do the work when it's time. Proactive patrols, trying to get those done in between addressing the noted properties. That have always been a concern. Trying to start with back alleys. The rain obviously increased significant growth 50 yards, so that caused a lot of additional work. I'm getting a lot of animal control complaints in regards to dog attacks, aggressive dogs. People are not paying attention to their responsibility to be responsible pet owners. They are walking their dogs off the leash, thinking that they're friendly. These dogs are sure friendly to them, but not friendly to other dogs. Just a little bit of a reminder to the public that not everybody likes dogs, so please be respectful of our public places. Trying to get that message out with people right now. No significant damage or injury, so that is a good thing. Few barking dog complaints, some off-leash dog concerns in some of our nicer maintained parks. People are using them as dog parks. And they're causing an issue for that as well. All of it has been basically just education and request for compliance, nothing has escalated or been difficult to manage. For the most part, people are responding well. And they are up to parking. When I wrote this report, I felt that the RV parking was notably improved in town. However, I think that was weather dictating and school just got out as well. So today I was driving around and yesterday and I noticed that there is an increase of RVs on the street that are not attached to the tow vehicle, which is not legal. Timelines, I'm not seeing too much of an issue with the 48 on and off. I'm not getting a lot of complaints about RVs for the most part. Just writing up some key points for the animal control bylaw with the urban hen portion. I'll be working on that throughout the summer, trying to identify some of the changes that are going to be considered improved or desirable. Just so we can highlight that at the community engagement meeting. Perfectly fine with the extended time, again, in the summer months. Trying to get to every house in town on a part-time schedule can prove to be challenging, especially when it's week intervals, so. Very much spending a lot of my time on unsightly properties right now. Statistics, I think, are pretty close to last year, I would say. I'm horrible at statistics. I'm doing everything by hand. Just trying to work on like paper, double documenting, notebooks, paper trail. Trying to get everything transferred into the computer because the big time delay is that I spend time in the vehicle and then I spend a bunch of time in the office because I'm double documenting back in. We're working on trying to get that more streamlined, and get me out on the road more. And that will significantly improve service delivery. It will improve, keeping track of steps. And so far, everything is going pretty well.
So what,
So Officer Rabel, I have a question to you in regards to the dog. Just the dog. What happens around town with dogs? I mean, I see more and more dogs around the freeway too. There's an open area and it seems like, I don't know where they come from, they just run there, but do you think there's a need in our community to have a dog park? I mean, we've talked about this before, but would that eliminate some of what's going on? I mean, I do see people too bringing their dogs for a walk in some of the parked areas, and they're not parks, they're actually property that is owned by, like, the hospital grounds, for example, and they bring their dogs there, and I'm thinking, this is probably not the place for it. But I'm just wondering, I keep thinking about the dog park thing and wondering if that is something that may eliminate what's going on in our community for people to have an opportunity that don't have, the space in the yards of their apartments for them to take their dogs.
There is good and bad with dog parks. The good, obviously, there's a designated place where people are actually allowed to go instead of essentially trespassing. I think that the unwritten rule of people know that these are designated dog park areas. For the most part, I think people are being very careful with those spaces and very respectful by cleaning up. And I think we've got a really good group in the community that really takes care of that. If we were to designate a spot specifically for dog parks, you're gonna see likely an increase in dog bites, dog attacks, dog altercations. There's likely gonna be significantly less compliance with cleaning up after pet owners, or pet owners not cleaning up after their dogs. And I'm just drawing from like the previous experience working in other municipalities and also some time working in a vet clinic that was close to a large dog park. Significant increase in property damage when it comes to dog attacks. There's an enforcement component with that. That will likely draw more time from myself and from the RCMP. So there's a lot of things to consider, although they are very desirable for a lot of pet owners. I'm a dog person. I do not utilize dog parks for many reasons, for my own personal reason. There's just a lot of things to consider. Yeah, but I think we're, yeah.
But Councilor Warwick raises a, sorry, Councilor, so she raised a good point that discussion about off-leash park has been around for many years. And I guess it's floated in and out, but there hasn't been anything really concrete, or there hasn't been any solid direction from council that they wanted administration to pursue an off-leash dog park, what options for land, costs, all of those other things, but it has been in and out over the last number of years, so there's been discussions.
so with these off-leash parks, and this is something that's popped into my head numerous times, so do they have a schedule where 0 to 10 pounds can run, and then 10 to 50 pounds can run, and then 50-pound plus can run? Because I mean,
Generally not. Mr.
Okay,
Mayor.
no, I just-
Some of the newer parks that are done will have specific areas based on size, so.
yeah, it's just one of those things I
Yeah.
thought of, because I mean, you take a 200-pound dog and a poodle, and it's a bad combination.
The poodle will win every time, every time. Yeah.
There's bonuses with dog parks as well. Do I think it's gonna reduce what's happening within the community? No. There's always gonna be people who will walk their dogs wherever they want off the machine, up the road, or dogs getting out in the yard. And we also have the additional issue of we don't have animal shelters and more too. Animal control though. It's expensive.
Any-
Councilor Crowe, looks like you want to say something.
Well, most people, like, I mean, they stick in their area. Like, I mean, if you put a dog park on the west end of town, people on the east end aren't gonna walk all the way down there to walk the dog. I mean, that's the.
The trouble with, some of our dog owners is convenience. Yeah, and you nailed that, Council Pro. If it's convenient, if they're in that area, they probably use it. If it's not in that area, they may not.
Councilor Bowden?
Well, I'm just wondering who would be responsible for maintaining those parks? That would fall onto the town staff, I believe, would it not? And is that sort of a, something that taxpayers may not want to support? There are a lot of dog owners that are responsible, but there are a lot of dog owners that are not. And I'm not sure that taxpayers would be interested in putting money towards that. I think maybe if that's the case, maybe there's more and more should be put towards irresponsible dog owners that are, walking their dogs off leash or not ensuring that their space is enclosed properly and things of that nature.
Councilor Olson?
I just want to make a comment that the unofficial dog park seems to be the triplex soccer field area. I mean, you're right, most, if not 95 to 98% of everybody out there is good. My kids spend a lot of time in both, and I'm hesitant to do like every single other community I've gone to. Lots of ballparks this year. Every single one has signs of no dogs allowed. People are tired of it. A couple times a year when my kids step in, whatever's left out there, slide into it, it happens. It's not a town responsibility to provide space for people who choose to have pets. Unfortunately, a lot of these places, most of them don't have dog parks. You're not allowed dogs out on their ball diamonds for obvious reasons. They are fenced, they're gated. And then it keeps a stray dog out. That could be a big contributing factor right now, is most people when they're out there with their dogs, it's fine. When the dog is loose or stray dog out there. But almost every community has bylaws that has it all gated and very clear signs that dogs are not allowed out there. It's not the intended purpose. It's not what it's being for. I personally, I'm hesitant to do it because most are good and it's appreciated to have somewhere to go, but it's close multiple times a year. It's really close. It really puts that issue. It's not for dogs.
It is our unofficial, Councilor Olson, 100%. And like you said, most people are very good. Some of our dog owners that use it are very good, and they'll clean up others because they don't want to lose the opportunity to use that space. So it is a balance. I do think though, Councilor Olson, if council wanted to take that step with those, that we would probably have a lot of pressure on us then to create an off-leash area from those users who use it, so.
Councilor Murphy, sorry.
Most off-leash dog parks are in larger centers because of people who live in apartments with pets, especially dogs, and need somewhere to go let them run. Here, you just have to go 5 minutes out of town and you've got lots of space. And I don't think it's necessary. You're gonna have inconsiderate pet owners, no matter what bylaws we put in place. I see them every single day. I have the same dog in my yard every single day and brought him back home every day instead of him putting down his beer and fixing the fence. A year goes by and he's still letting the dog alone. It's gonna get kicked. It's the dog that ends up getting hurt. But so the inconsiderate part won't change. Even if you put up fences, they find a way in. It's so frustrating. But Memorial Park, beautiful park. I bring the grandkids there all the time, and bags and pick up other people who they use it as a toilet, and it's just awful.
I did notice that, as I discussed an increase in animal related calls, I have added my two steps, so I apologize.
We need a spreadsheet.
Yes.
We need a spreadsheet.
Could I just ask if the majority of those calls were strays, or were they under control at the time of the attack? Am I wording that right?
These are all people's dogs that are walking them off leash.
Off leash, okay.
Or they're not in care and control, and they are aggressively approaching citizens, residents who are walking down the public sidewalk, either themselves or with their leashed dogs. So the people who are being approached by these dogs are ones who are in compliance essentially and following the law, and other people are walking their unleashed dogs, or their dogs are out running around. Yeah, so.
Any other questions? Keep on keeping on. It's an uphill slope. And,
Oh,
oh, go ahead.
I apologize. I'm still working on my public speaking mistake. I did want to mention that parking complaints, just so everyone is is aware. They are being done on a proactive, or not on a proactive, they are being done on complaint response basis, with the exception of RVs. At obviously council and administration discretion. I am not doing proactive parking unless there is a complaint received. So. That's what you have to say.
That would be like someone who's parking in front of someone else's house for a month and doesn't move the car. What?
Like, that would be defined as like abandoned vehicle, and I know the definition is very confusing for a lot of people, but it just gives the opportunity to form, I guess, per se of that charge, which is why it's called abandoned.
The car on
Mark it and
blocks with
wait
no
for the time.
license plate.
That's a
something
whole
like that.
host of other
That's
jobs.
okay.
Yeah, I
Okay.
could spend a lot of time all day
Okay.
if I did that here, but that's not the direction you're interested in going. And it's fairly lax, and until you guys decide otherwise, it's fine. This is a small community for the most part. I would say majority of people are pretty.
Tolerant.
And yeah, there's a few places, but they're welcome to make a complaint, and if I can address it myself, the detachment is always willing to assist.
Okay, motion to. Council accepts municipal enforcement services 2024 second quarter report for the months of April through June 2024. For information, thank you to Mr. Rapel for her presentation. Motion, Councilor Turtle.
I'm not sure if Councilor Bowden has a question.
Oh, Councilor
or-
Bowden, did you have a question? Sorry, no, all in favor? Carried.
No, I was just going to make the
Make
motion.
the motion. Okay. Downtown business compensation discussion.
So, Mr. Mayor, I will, Councilor Olson asked to have this included on the agenda. I did a very quick and dirty, report in the background area. I don't know if I captured Councilor Olson's thoughts, but I'll let him, lead forward with the discussion on this issue.
Oh, sure, thanks, Ben. I just wanted to, initiate a discussion for, compensation for businesses that have been significantly affected. I try to find other communities that have done this. I can find zero policies or actual hard things that have happened. The closest one is Edmonton passed a motion to consider a plan to help businesses that can prove they're significantly hit by it. So the easiest way for the town, in my mind, is compensation in the form of tax relief equivalents.
The one in Edmonton's actually a deferral. Okay.
The only motion was just to discuss a plan.
Well, the first motion got defeated by Andrenack in 2001. And then it came back to the table again in 2002. And it was a deferral is what it was. And the second motion actually passed. And, but it was just a tax deferral was all it was. And it was on regards to Stony Plain Road, I believe it was. It's a 3-year project. These businesses have been
LRT.
buggered for 3 years, so that's the one. I've done a great deal of research into that Edmonton project, and
There's also one in Calgary on 17th Ave Southwest has been closed for, I think they're on 8
yeah,
months.
but I haven't seen anything from that one. The one I dived into is the Edmonton
There's a
one.
couple of businesses that have retained counsel to try and assist because they've been redirected for so long.
Well, that's the option, as any private place has, is if they've been treated unjustly, they can take legal action, is always an option. So I tried to gather numbers to at least wrap my head around some of it, and a couple ideas. Not guaranteed accuracy, but I'm confident this is close. I went through every single property that was on either side of construction, went through all their taxes for 2024, and all assessments for the entire block, starting from ATV and across the road all the way down to the post office and across the road. Annual taxes are $115,000. So a monthly thing for, again, this is every single business, is about $10,000 a month. Would be full tax exemption for a full month for all of it. Of course, there's a lot of businesses that it wouldn't apply to. The rules that I would consider to be useful, you have to prove significant loss compared to past years. A significant loss of revenue, as well as an active business license. So there's a handful of buildings, of course, without active business licenses. Not the significant buildings, but some of the smaller ones anyways. I don't have anything that I want to put forward. I'd like to have discussion on it to see what thoughts are, if it's something people can apply for. Of course, we have businesses that are renting, that are hit by revenue loss. The taxes, deferring taxes do nothing for them. So I thought the tax equivalent to the business would be an easy way to start. Only way to compare them equally in my mind.
I talked to Sammy there, I had some meetings with him. What he would be looking for is 1 month out of the whole year for tax relief. Because like we said, it's between 6 to 8 weeks, but he'd settle for about 1 month. You know,
I'm comfortable myself in my mind, a tax, full tax compensation equivalent to their taxes for the full length of their effective. Maybe it is at 8 weeks, maybe it touches a bit, but it is not a significant number. I mean, that could almost disappear into the contingency for the construction very easily if we do something like that. If they can prove significant loss or significant change from previous years. Lots of them won't be, this doesn't include the special areas. I can't see them wanting any kind of compensation. I'm not gonna speak for them, but they don't have a loss of revenue due to it. You know, things like, well, the daycare. A nuisance, and in the ass, yes, I don't think it would be a loss in revenue for them. People are still gonna take their kids there. So I don't know if you compensate for inconveniences, how we'd like to go about it.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes.
actually, I'm wondering if I know there's not a motion on the table right now, so if I have to recuse myself, because I have vested interest. Because I have a family member that does, because I would love to speak to this. But I'm
No,
not,
I think you're certainly
Yeah.
free to speak to the issue.
but as far as emotion goes, I know, yeah, I have family ties, so I just want to make sure that I'm
There's no motion.
great stand right now, so that, you know, I'm not crossing any lines here or anything, but. I guess my one question would be, as a business owner, I mean, how are you gonna, if you're gonna see significant loss, I mean. There's lots of variables there, whether, you know, a business is gonna bring their books to you and be able to prove to you that it has significant. I think in good faith, more so, I think, you know what, supporting the businesses, where they're at some level. I think if we support one, let's support them all and make it fair, whether they have a significant loss or not. I think it is gonna affect all the businesses on Main Street at some level. And personally, I'm seeing some of the effects. It is a bit of a deterrent with, what's going on downtown. But, yeah, I don't know how you're gonna pull the books together and define in every business whether you've had a $5,000 loss comparable to last year, who's doing your books, who can bring those numbers, who can quantify them. I just don't know that, you know, that kind of accuracy is gonna be available to us.
So just
I
speak to
just
that.
say,
For your prime example, how you compare last year.
Yes.
You can't. So, yeah,
Gotcha.
that's my best idea is, you know, tax equivalent or whatever they're affected.
Well, Okay, that's working.
I totally agree with your suggestion, because during that period of time, they're paying property taxes for access to roads and sewer and water and power, and it's on and off. And so I think it's a wonderful idea. I do not want any of us to see any of the books on any of the businesses. It makes me very uncomfortable. And they can be fudged faster than their eyes can spin. There's no way to validate them, so that would be totally inappropriate. So this is a great solution. It's certainly a better one than compensating people based on what they believe their sales should have been. That just won't happen. But compensating them from the tax perspective, but for those who don't own, having a compensation to them, because giving the money to the building owner who lives in Florida doesn't help anybody. So I agree with that. I think that's a great idea. Okay.
So I guess, Mr. Mayor, consensus wise. There's some direction that we bring back, a more detailed plan around this. Based on the principles of, tax recovery, tax rebate for the portion of time that the construction has. Their access to their business. And I like the other thing that I thought I gathered from Councilor Olson was that we make it available to all businesses on the street. And they need to choose whether they want to submit an application for it or not. And I think a number of our businesses are very happy with the process, very happy with what's going to be there in the future, and are willing to be able to do that. There will be some that, again, as Councilor Olson indicated, I haven't looked through the numbers, but I don't think it will be a significant amount. But I can certainly try to put something together for the August council meeting under those parameters, if that's what I'm hearing from council.
And where do you start on this end? Because even though it only starts at the town office, it actually starts a block down where they have signs up and they're.
But Councilor Murphy, I don't think there's any impact on this one. So, all season sports.
Yeah.
Has access in and out, so there's no disturbing there. Obviously, on the corner, there's the yoga studio. I don't think there's any impact with that.
It's
So
just one part,
we would
that's it.
start at Alberta Treasure Branch
And go
and
that way.
Curvises and go east. Does that sound? Like,
Sandra?
Councilor Bowden?
I do like the idea of a tax break versus an actual amount. Because otherwise I would want to see the books, if they're claiming that this is particular, that they lost X number of dollars, then how are we going to justify to taxpayers that we've confirmed it when we actually haven't? When you also hear too that because of the because of the work being done downtown and somebody refusing to serve them, to me, that is a bit of a slap in the face too, because, you have the option of being able to, serve, maybe the workers and that sort of thing. And if you choose not to, well, then I guess that is, at least then we're not handing money out. It would be on a cost savings down the way as far as either a percentage of tax, you know, reduction and such, or show me your books.
But in a rental situation, we'd actually be giving it to the renter, correct? That would your.
That would be the premise, that would be,
I think it should go, yeah, the business.
you're the business operator.
But the person that's holding the business license,
Go ahead, Constable.
sorry?
Go ahead.
Yeah, no, I think it, you know, as far as those, whoever has the business license with the town should be the one that is actually going to benefit from any sort of, compensation of any, means of sorts, so.
Just the person holding the business license won't be paying the taxes on the property, so therefore the idea.
No, they won't.
In some
No,
situations.
they won't, but
Unless it's triple that.
then I'd want to see their books.
Most commercial rentals are triple net, so they'd be paying the property tax.
So if council's comfortable with that, that's a direction we can bring back something for the August meeting. That council can have more details on and can consider at that point in time and tweak and change as they see fit.
No,
So I don't know, Mr. Mayor, I know we should probably. We
Make
didn't
a
have
motion for you to
required,
go
but
ahead
I
with
think
the-
There would be a motion to direct administration
to
bring back
pursue.
a
plan.
business compensation plan for council review.
Motion, Counselor Olson,
Lovely.
all in favor? Opposed? Carried. 9.06.
So this is the one that was
Yep.
handed out, with you this evening, so. So, Mr. Mayor, just, wanted to, touch base, we have had informal discussions, throughout the process about, whether we want to create some additional bump outs / patio areas for some of our businesses in the downtown area. As we went through the process and discussions, 3 of them had suggested to administration that it would be nice if that would be something the council would consider in front of their businesses, primarily businesses that would be serving food, serving alcohol, refreshments. So we did work, asked MPE to look at the details on what that would be, how they could be constructed, what the cost would be, how they deal with storm management. Today, and I apologize for the timing, so today I did get the concept plan, which has been attached. So the 2 businesses that have requested on the first block, first phase are the Barnard and the Nickel. That it would be a nice addition to their business, and on the second block in front of Cadbury or Cadbury, Melanie had said that she would be interested in that. We did get the concept, so you can see the concept. Basically, it would be following the parking stall alignment. And in the case of the Nickel and Bar None would take 4 parking stalls in front of those 2 respective businesses. And in the case of Tackerby, it would take 3. We looked at it. There are 2 options, certainly, and I've got 2 options for council to consider in the discussion. One, which is probably the recommended recommendation from administration, would be to have council authorize administration to commit to work with the business owners interested in constructing a temporary patio structure on the street in front of their businesses on the 100 and 200 blocks at 2nd Avenue West, including design costs, etc. The other option, as it's indicated, that it is a cost of about an estimated cost of about 60,000, so about 20,000 per business, to put the permanent concrete patio and bump outs there. Just in discussion, we're recommending the option one and still would be, I'm still, if council would like to move forward in this direction, would have council put forward the funds to help construct these patios, but I think if you look at anyone that you've maybe seen or been by lately, quite often they are portable, quite often they're constructed of wood. It can come in when the weather's poor, be out for the summer months when they want to use that space. I think in hindsight, that might be a better alternative. And I think it provides good insight to those businesses, and I think working together, they would maybe have a little more flexibility in terms of what it would look like, how it could look, and move forward versus the permanent concrete structure that's there. One of the concerns are we never know whether businesses are going to change ownership, change structure, function, and sometimes someone might want to purchase that business and that bump out is good. Sometimes they'll be going, oh, I really don't want it there because it takes up time, my parking in front of my store. So we're recommending that we work with the business owners, and when I say work with them, looking at assuming costs to portable patios, if they so desire, and again, we've got some time. We know construction's gonna not allow it to happen this year, but it would be a 2025 venture that we could work with the businesses to help them design it and hire some local contractors to build it. Could be placed there when they want it in the spring, summer, and removed in the fall, winter. So I know just throwing this at you on the spot, and the trouble is we need to make a decision because they're at that point in construction that if we are going to move forward with something permanent, they need to know it tonight. So.
Council,
Yeah, I'm pretty hard against anything permanent. It seems real easy for in the first year for 2025 to do some device to make it a soft curb, at least just some small ramp, and picturing Stephen Ave in Calgary, which like a decent quality fencing around. You make it as big as you want, and it's super portable, pack it up, try it. If they really like it, they want something more upscale patio type. And you look at it later, and it hasn't been a massive investment to get.
Yeah.
It's a trial run, and I got no problem with the town putting a bill for something like that to initiate more stuff downtown.
Yeah,
But
well,
it would be significant cost.
and we know that that's one of the reasons we wanted to do this work was we wanted to make the downtown attractive for people to attend and people to come there, so we can create some spaces that bring more people downtown. That's the goal.
So how are these any different than what's going on at the corners? Like when you do those bump outs and those jet outs there? I mean, those are gonna be inhibitors for snow removal as well. In my opinion, what I've seen in some small communities, those bump outs and jet outs in some of the communities I've been in are an asset at every level. And not just for restaurants and bars. They are an asset for clothing companies. Their gathering area, they use it sometimes for displays and other items to put out there. I think they're a benefit. I mean, it's not like we have a congested downtown core that, you lose 4 parking stalls, but you don't have somewhere else across the street or a stall down to park. I think that honestly, when I see them in communities, I think they are amazing and an asset to any kind of business that is there, whether it's been, and lots of some of the communities I've been in, lots don't have bars or restaurants in front of them. There are other businesses. And I think they've been an asset at that level. So I don't know, I just, those temporary measures can be messy. The railings can be messy on them. It is also an extra burden on staff because it's an ongoing thing too. If you're looking at taking them in and out all the time, that is, if we're asking our staff to do that, that's extra work.
Yeah, wouldn't be our staff, Councilor Warwick. Like we might be involved with setting them out at the beginning of the spring when requested by the business owner, and they'll be taking them out. But as far as the tables on their umbrellas or whatever that they would be moving in, that the business would be responsible for moving them in every day. Or leaving them out there. Like I'm sure in Canmore, Banff, some of those areas, they stay out there all the time. They might just put the umbrellas down so they don't blow away or cause damage, but yeah, that would be
I
my,
think I'm just sad that maybe more research hasn't gone into seeing, what would be more beneficial and what would be better for, for our community. I mean, like I said, our downtown core is never that busy that we couldn't have. To me, it's no different than what we're doing further down around the corners. We're doing the jet out there that offers a different opportunity for those businesses on the corner. So why would we not offer that opportunity, in my opinion, for those businesses in the middle of the street?
But the same, on that note though, for example, the business next door on either side now loses their parking in front because we have there's nowhere for them to park in front of the business because someone's going to a restaurant or a clothing store or whatever that has a jut out in front of it. I mean, it's. No, seriously.
I have to laugh a little bit because you know what, no matter which, I mean.
You can laugh all you
We
want.
have a benefit in our small communities. You get to park right in the front, and if you don't park, if you can't, you drive around 16 times until you get to park right there. And so you can only take 6 steps instead of 16. It doesn't kill anybody to park across the street, or I'm just saying, and I'm guilty too. But in the same regard, it wouldn't hurt anybody to, park 3 stalls down and walk 7 more steps.
But we also need to look at the effects of helping one business and hindering another one. And I'll use my example as when we put the Tim Hortons in town, the traffic through my yard is 15 or 20 vehicles a day. I see no benefit from that whatsoever, those vehicles traveling through my yard. I just don't want to hinder another business to help another one. I mean, we have to look at the entire business unit as a whole.
And if they're beneficial to everybody, where do we stop? Do we
Exactly.
do,
That's why I like the temporary idea.
then we can do several of those and replicate it.
Mr. Lowell,
So temporary, we thinking like building a wood deck. That's
Possibly,
equivalent
yes,
to curb
equivalent
height,
to curb height.
something that we can bring in on a forklift and drop, and it's a set size and.
Yeah. And there's all kinds of options, but that
They
would
can
be,
do
that would be
fencing.
one. of the
And then a
options.
jersey barrier for safety or build it into the
We
deck.
have to build something into the design or jersey barrier, like that's always been my primary concern whenever we've talked about patios, is we're an angle parking community.
Yeah.
And everyone's used to angle parking, so if you've got a big truck here and you're not paying a lot of attention, you come by, well, I'm just gonna pull in here and bang, there's people sitting on the table there. We have to be able to protect them. So.
Yeah, well, that's my question from a development point of view. Just curious what we're gonna allow them to build.
Well, and that's, like I said, I don't know what it would be, but those were some of the things, I was in Canmore a couple of weeks ago, and that's what they built out onto their street. A lot of the restaurants have been a wood deck that's the same height as curb, and you walk in and do it there. So that's where my mind went. I don't know if it has to be exactly that way, but
You see a lot of them in large metros in the state. San Francisco, different places where they're, sometimes you can't find parking on the street because there's so many of them. advantage of
Even right
temporary.
here Downtown, a lot of those roads are basically impassable in the summer because they have all these extended little fenced areas off.
Thing about temporary is when it changes what the business is and that guy doesn't want it anymore, but somebody else opens up down the block and wants another one. You can always, you're gonna have to have an application and an approval process, because you still got to keep a certain amount of parking. I mean, when we approve a development, we look at parking, we know that you have road parking, but we also look at offsite parking in a development. So normally in that area, it's not a concern because of our own town parking lot, but it is something to keep in mind.
I just wondered too, the thought that comes to mind is just aesthetically, we've spent all this millions of dollars on a downtown core, and then I have seen the temporary too. There's lots of DC. One, there is a vast difference between the temporary and the permanent. Yeah, structurally, there's a huge difference.
So
Counselor Bowden,
I do, I'm sorry,
Counselor Bowden,
Sorry, I just had a comment regarding the cost again, that, would that be in lieu of any sort of compensation that might be approved down the way? Or, I can see some people saying, well, this modification cost about $60,000. Are you gonna give me the same sort of benefit by a compensation? And yeah, I agree with helping out, but to what extent, and yeah, what cost is that gonna add as well?
so I do apologize, Mr. Mayor, that it was last minute. So I'm trying to get this information.
no, it has to be done tonight,
From
so, yeah.
the engineers as to whether it can be done, what it looks like, how it can be done, what the costs are, and just got it, so.
Just a $60,000 tax rate now is, in my opinion, not a deal.
The other advantage too is, we know we have a contingency, and right now contingency, knock on wood, is in good shape. And we get through the project and the contingency is still in good shape. It does allow council to utilize those dollars if they so chose to. Certainly council could direct that we put the permanent ones in at a cost of 60,000, and that would come out of the contingency. But I know we're still early on in the project, so you always run the risk of, at the end, you find something that's unsurprising.
That ate up the
but then
contingency.
You're over budget, so. So we would need a direction from council, and I put two motions there for council's consideration. If one's the favored and the majority moves forward on it, we'll go that direction.
Well, I'll make a motion that council authorize administration. They could work for the business owners interested in constructing a temporary patio structure on the street in front of their businesses. 100 and 200 blocks of Second Ave.
I'm gonna recruit.
Yep. Okay, any more discussion? Motion on the floor is for option number 1 from Counselor Olson. All in favor? Opposed? Carried. Bylaws number 10, nothing.
No.
Council report round table. Counselor Bowden, anything in your world doing exciting?
Just that I did attend the local authority thing in Youngstown, and I do have a package for you, Mr. Mayor, in my place. And I also attended the July 1st celebration, flag raising and everything, and I agree that it was a good turnout and good job. That's about all.
Thank you. Counselor Kroll? Nothing? Counselor Warwick?
We had our PEP AGM, here, I guess, two weeks ago. I have a little annual report, if anybody wants, it has an extra. They're a great little synopsis of the 17 either MDs, towns, or villages of that are a part of PEP. They have a little write-up of all our little communities, so Hannah's been included in it.
And coordination's just been added, I saw
Yeah,
today.
and coordination has just been added as well, so it gives them the municipalities population, so Barb's done a really wonderful job of supporting PEP, and all the work that all the extra work she does is just absolutely incredible. At our AGM, Doug Jones was once again acclaimed as the chair. Nobody did run against him. Holly Johnson stood in as first vice president. I did get elected and accepted the second vice president. And then Cody Hilmer took on the secretary, treasurer's position, and he's a new member representing coordination. Now coordination is now decided to be a part of TAP, so.
Were they at one time earlier?
I
No,
don't know
I
that
don't
coordination
know.
was ever,
Okay.
that I don't.
Concert's been in and out.
Yeah.
That's the one, sorry,
Concert.
yeah, I got my seat mixed up there.
And I don't know why they've never came to the table. This is the first time they decided upon, yeah. So our members at large are Herb, Maury and Kathy Hyder, who's from Medicine Hat, and past president Jason. So it's on the executive committee. Yeah, so I do have 4 of these. I'm gonna keep one myself, but if anybody would like to have them, then they're very willing to have them. So, yeah. I do have a couple questions that I wanted to ask in regards to, we did start, we did have some discussion, a couple council meetings ago about a local spending policy. Can I ask where that is?
Yeah, I'm working on it.
Okay, okay,
Yeah.
that's perfect. Also, I know in this community, we've spent a great number of dollars on signage in this community. It's been brought to my attention, and I did do a little walkabout today just to see. There is some crosswalk signage, that, appears to be, yeah, not in the best of shape. The Canada Goose on them is really, like dilapidated, rusted out and all the rest of it. I don't, at some other crosswalks, so I'm just wondering if there is any, are we going to be looking on it at doing any upgrades on those particular signs, or?
So I'm just trying to, I'm looking at Brad, I'm just trying to, I don't know if we have any crosswalks that have the piece on them. That's why I'm looking a little bit.
There might be a few that have no. We haven't
Top
had,
of crosswalk signs?
well, on the pole,
On the poles.
Oh, okay.
They're on the top of the poles and the
Okay.
crosswalk.
Okay.
and we generally have the summer student go around and paint.
It's way up
Yeah.
there.
Okay, no, we can look at that.
I just thought,
Yeah.
just when you look at the sign, you kind of look at some of them, it kind of sounds like, our signs are so showy. So anyhow, that's all the questions I have. Thank you very much. Oh, I should say, that Fargo Center is hosting an old time jamboree, July 26th, 27th, 28th. We have 8 bands coming this year, which is probably the most bands we've ever had.
Say that's up from,
Yeah, from all over, I've been doing a little bit of traveling. Anyhow, if you are inclined, it's a great group of people. I've had about 325 calls in the last 14 days from everybody from the interior BC, Saskatchewan, Northern Alberta, asking about it's on the posters, but of course, I just want to confirm and asking about parking. So we may in fact have more trailer parking than we did see on the street around the community center last year. Just so you know, I know it might be a bit of a night.
We just try and ensure we have fire access,
Yeah,
and we
and
do,
that's all.
we do try to also save some parking for our pool users and some Fenway Place users too, so. Yeah.
perfect, great job. Counselor Wilson,
Nothing more to add.
oh boy. How's the golf course?
Hot.
Is it busy?
Yeah,
It's picking up good.
yeah.
Cause I know it was fairly quiet there for a little while, and I think the weather as much as
Yeah,
anything.
to
being-
compare the Monday Golf League, we were 25 to 35 so far this year. Last night was 48.
Yeah.
It was hot and slow.
Yeah.
Hard to keep things cool.
Counselor Murphy,
Recovering from surgery last week. Alberta healthcare system took 8 years, but life-changing, so I'm very happy. On the mend, and the swimming pool is packed solid. It's fantastic. You can't even get in the pool. There's so many people in there.
This
It's
week.
wonderful.
This
week.
Yeah, this week. Yeah. The heat will do it.
Counselor Carroll,
Oh, our Ag Society, we're getting ready for our 64th annual. That's starting on August 8th is set up, and parade night is Friday the 9th. And then our Saturday the 10th, we're doing the little fire challenge. And then we have also, oh, what do chickens do? It's a little contest, it's a,
Poop.
yeah, I don't, we're gonna learn. But it's a little everything, the question and answer period, kids, it's like a little quiz show for kids from 4 till 14 and same with little fire challenge, as I got to watch it up in Edmonton there, it's hilarious. They go through this pretty well the same courses the adults do and everything else, but it was something that we thought, we seen it up at the Ag conference and we thought this was something to bring into town and help bring out all the kids and the families and stuff, so. And this year's theme is, it's the Royal Canadian Air Force 100th anniversary, so that's our theme this year. It's and the Legion, they're going to participate, maybe having some displays and stuff. So,
And the car show.
and the car show, and then
That's museum.
Yeah.
Museum.
Yeah.
That'd be very good.
yeah, we're working with them. We're promoting all that, and plus the show is Jaws this year at the drive-in theater. So, it's great to work with the car club because at least we make something. Let's get 2 or 3 groups together and things like that.
Everybody wins.
And we're finalizing the parade route. We're just going to go north of the. Instead of coming down Central, down Main Street, we're going to go a block just north. And then we go straight across where it's all open. So. And then we'll come out at Home Hardware and go back down to Freezing Brothers or IPA.
Look at you.
And then we can hit all the lodges. and
Seniors,
stuff. Seniors and stuff. And
For me, I'd like to thank Council Murphy for signing up on all my checks and stuff while I was gone. Council Warwick did a bang up job at Canada Day for me. I appreciate that. The museum did a pancake breakfast for the first time ever. It was a huge eye opener for them. They made 4 trips to the grocery store, realizing that holy crap, we weren't quite ready for this. So that was good. They are doing, they did not get any of the summer employment grants, so they're scrambling for cash. So they did a donation for their pancake breakfast. I think it went okay. It was 248 people attended, and it was a good deal. So I think, and they're going to do it again. They're also doing a pancake breakfast with the car show, which they have taken over from the car club. The Neil Hanford has kind of tapped out on that. He was looking for somebody to take it over, and Shelby and her crew at the museum have taken it over. And so they're going to do a pancake breakfast for that as well. Same type of deal, donation thing. So yeah, other than that, it's been relatively quiet on the mayor's front. The few comments on the downtown, but it is what it is. I mean, people have an opinion of where the truck should go, and others have different opinions where the truck should go. And I don't think we'd ever make everyone happy with it. So, and that's all I've got. So moving on from there, motion to accept council reports for information. Councilor Warwick, all in favor? Carried. Correspondence.
I don't think there's anything to really highlight there, Mr. Mayor. We did talk about a couple of them earlier, the grant that's before and when we weren't. We have talked about the AM conference registration, the opportunity to meet with the minister. Council Kroll is registered for the Alberta Japan Twin Municipalities Conference later on in July, and I think that's it on correspondence, Mr. Mayor.
Okay. Motion to accept correspondence for information. Councilor Kroll. Did you want to make that motion? Sure. All in favor? Well, you look down here. Carried. Okay, we have one closed session So we're gonna have a quick stretch our legs and
Motion recess.
recess, yeah. I knew you were gonna come with it.
Well, you know.
I'll put it